Let's.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're going to call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock, July 6th. Do I have a motion to adopt the minutes of June 20th?
So moved. Second.
Okay, if there's no further discussion.
Minor adjustments to
Thank you.
them, not many.
Mr. Crockett?
Yes.
Mr. Spratlin?
Yes.
Mr. Meacher?
Yes.
All right, let's see, I need a motion.
We need to open this public hearing sometime, so just don't forget.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to put it on the agenda.
Motion to approve payment of bills to the tune of $49,889.45, with $5,045.61 coming from general, $32,639.32 coming from fire, $67 from cemetery, EMS billing $5,822.04, and $6,311.48 coming from road and bridge.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, maybe we take a vote.
Mr. Crockett?
Yes.
Mr. Meacher? Mr.
Yes.
Spratlin?
Yes.
All right. So we need to open our public hearing for the purposes of approving our budget for the next year.
Do we do that by the motion or just acclamation?
You just say it's
Just say
open.
it's open.
All right. Hear ye, hear ye.
Yeah.
All those having business in front of the trustees, step forward.
Any questions?
Not yet. They might show up.
We'll be running late this evening.
We usually let it go for a while. Do other things.
How long?
You can close it back up at new business.
And go back up on
Half
our
hour or so.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, let us move on then. And under correspondence, we received Ohio Township News Magazine, Auditor of the State Bulletin, 2016 003. Didn't see that. Star Plus Bank Exclusion and Disclosure Form, Fiscal Officer Continuing Education Report Deadline, MVRPC 2015 Annual Report and News Release, which had a wonderful picture of Chris in it.
It did.
Yeah. Did you see that? You didn't see it? Okay. It was nice. Let's see. That's the annual Ohio Cemetery Association Convention announcement. League of Women Voters newsletter. Copy of letter from the Greene County Board of Commissioners annexation petition. Greene County Health Commissioners monthly report and meeting announcement. Email from the Greene County Association regarding the legislative alert info. Regional Planning and Coordinating Commission meeting announcement. Economic Sustainability Commission meeting announcement. And Village of Yellow Springs public hearing announcement. Fund status, revenue status, and appropriation status report for July 6th, 2016.
The one from the village, that was for the rezone, or not rezoning, but site plan review, is that what it was for the solar panels? For the
Yeah.
last farm?
Mhm.
Because we're not joining.
Yeah, but I was trying to think, why is there going to be, how do they work that they need
Well,
a
it's
public
site,
review of that?
if you do a site plan review, it's a type of development, and that requires a public hearing because you're changing the zoning from whatever the underlying zoning is to site plan review. It's kind of like a PUD, only it's not as involved. At least, yeah, I always have to be cautious these days because my service with the village and their zoning was prior to their
Right.
remodeling their zoning. But it used to be that a site plan review, as I say, was fewer steps, fewer hoops to jump through than a PUD, but it gave you certain flexibility to do things that normally you wouldn't be able to do.
Do you know off the top of your head what they're proposing?
No, I have not followed it. I guess, well, okay, to be quite honest, I don't know what the underlying zoning is anymore on the glass farm.
Yeah.
And exactly where they're proposing putting this array. It was industrial when it came into the village, and if it's still industrial, then I'm not even sure that they need site plan review, but if they did rezone it at some point, and maybe to do solar panels as a commercial endeavor, as opposed to an accessory to your house, might require that.
I do believe they rezoned it, but I just don't remember what they rezoned it to.
Now, there's so much, debate about how it should be used. I'm not sure that it ever was, I would think it would be residential if they rezoned it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't even know, the glass farm was always thought of in thirds, basically, because that's how the farmers' fields were. And I don't know which parcel or part of it they're planning to develop either.
Yeah. Yep.
If you'd like more information about that, I'm curious enough to get it. But,
Well, isn't the part by King Street, isn't that the conservation area?
yeah, they have, I believe they've restricted that in some way, shape, or form. But, and they, just by making a detention area and all, they obviously can't build on that. But I don't know, again, whether they tried to do that for the whole third, so to speak, or it's a more limited area.
I just wonder if they're gonna use their little access up at Fairfield to go in for the construction of that.
Well, they said like Canaan.
Well, yeah, I just wondered if that was it, if that's the intention.
They basically don't have, that is the access to, well, there's two ways that they can access. They can come in off Fairfield Pike on the 50-foot strip, or they can come in from what is it?
That road.
Yeah, I think in Broadwood Court, the other one. Anyway, the little plat that's there, I can't think of the name of it, has a stub street.
Oh, yeah.
That butts up against.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's access at that point also.
And then there
there's
is
all
drive-
King Street, but that,
Yeah.
Off of King Street.
from, not that there's an official way to do it, but all of Thistle Creek borders, but I don't, they have unusual ways that they do the streets and all, but easements and all, the village may have access from that direction as well.
Alrighty, well, that's all the correspondence I wanted to chat about.
Okay. Colin says he won't be here tonight because of scheduling conflict, but he did leave a memo. Says I'll be out of town at the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association Conference Thursday, July 14th through Sunday, July 17th. And Assistant Chief Powell, and Chief Maychak will be here during that time. Let's see, activities since last meeting: 40 EMS incidences, 13 fire incidences, and 6 fire safety inspections. Let's see, Yellow Springs fireworks went off without hitch. We had 17 people on duty before, during, and immediately after the show. This is that he handled the fireworks exhibition inspection. I'm July 4th, and Lieutenant Ayers did the morning after site inspection. Any questions about the memo?
I have none.
No,
No? Okay, then let us move on. It's not as exciting without the tree. How about cemetery and road report?
Okay. Well, we've had 2 burials since our last meeting. We actually done a scattering Friday. So I got the info. What do we do now? Who do we notify to get the in the scattering area? What do we do?
It's coming up, or you have?
I've already done it.
there's a little plaque or something.
Right.
that goes
So
up.
I've got the info.
To Larry.
Just call Larry and tell him. Okay, I don't know if that was something you wanted to do, or I just call him and tell him.
Yeah, I guess it would be yours.
Okay, well, I'll call him.
Yeah.
Larry Morrison. Todd Longman. Okay.
He said that, no, I think they've changed a little bit since we set that up, but, I mean, they still have, I mean, it's still their business, they have portable engravers that come out and do it.
Right.
And he was gonna do it for 75, an inscription, as I recall, so.
It's like 3 by 5 or something, or, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. We have to go out and measure it again. I just can't remember exactly what the width of that face is. And there's gonna be 2 columns, there's 2 columns on each, I believe, 2 columns worth of width,
Okay.
and then 2 lines, name and.
Right, name.
Birth and death date.
Birth and death
Well,
date.
it was designed in cooperation with Don's, wasn't it?
Yes.
So that-
Oh, yeah, I just
Yeah.
thought I'd
Now-
tell you in case you want me to call.
Oh, I do.
Oh, not a problem.
Yeah,
So you had 2 burials?
I had another one today in Glen Forest.
Both of them were Glen Forest?
Yes. It was a full
And-
burial today.
It was
Full
full
burial.
burial.
Is the other one a full burial?
Ashes.
One burial, one full burial.
so how does the scattering work out?
Good. I'd never done one.
The wind was blowing in the right direction.
Yeah.
Or not blowing.
We moved the mulch.
Okay.
Under my directions of what I was told, move the mulch, and he sprinkled his ashes around, and then we placed the mulch back on top and walked away and gave him a few minutes.
Mhm.
He said, okay.
Now, who was?
Mrs. Graham, Paul Graham's wife.
Do you have a burial transit permit? Do you have any
I have no
paperwork?
He brought her with him, and I don't have anything. With ashes, sometimes we don't get
Yeah.
anything because of.
But I need information to put in the system and to document and to file and all that good stuff.
Of who, her name and stuff?
Yeah.
I have that,
Okay,
but I just don't have any cremation papers or anything
Okay.
like that, because sometimes we don't get that, you know?
yeah, I know,
He didn't have anything.
okay.
But I do have her name and stuff, and an approximate location.
Any vitals about her, well, you must have her birth and death date.
I do.
For the, okay.
I
okay.
have that information, her name, and
Yeah.
the date of birth and the date of death, which are both. So I have
Okay.
that. So you need that,
How much is a scattering?
$550.
Yeah, you didn't make him an invoice or anything, right?
No, we will. We'll send you something. I told you we would. I didn't have any receipts.
Trying to
I
think
didn't have
what,
any
I'm trying to
paper.
think what we're gonna send
I
them.
don't know. I didn't have any receipts with me to
Yeah.
write you anything, so.
Yeah.
Do you know exactly where those ashes are?
Mhm.
Is there any monument or 10
No,
years
no,
now?
her name will go on the, it's just a,
It's a central one.
yeah, it's just a,
These,
So as time goes by, nobody will know where they are exactly, except in that field someplace.
in the,
Right.
in the area where the mulch is, right. And I marked it, I didn't exactly measure, but I drew a little thing about where she is. I can go measure, I
no,
know where it was.
we don't really want to, the idea is they are intermingled.
Right,
Yeah, it's
And
a
so, in that case, you don't say, you know, this is your spot, this is your spot,
well,
this is
no,
your
no,
spot.
no, but after he picked the spot, I moved the mulch, and he
Mhm.
done his thing, and we covered up, and then I just drew a little thing
That's
for
fine.
for myself
That's fine,
to
yeah.
generalize.
Yeah,
where
we
she
just
is.
don't wanna make it sound like,
I
okay,
didn't.
this is yours.
Right, right.
This is yours, this is
Right.
yours.
No, not doing that,
Gotcha.
I just thought, I'd draw a
There's
little
not gonna
thing.
be too many people that can remember where it was. that
Sure.
They sprinkle those ashes in.
Yeah, well, but after the initial, oh, well, I wanted to, and those sorts of potential
Yeah.
things. Okay, great.
He'll be fine. He knows where, general area where it was, if he wants to go and visit.
Okay, so you guys will work out some
Right.
documentation and then.
I told him we'd send him something.
Put that info.
And I'll give you
with
some info.
What I had, what you gave me, okay.
And then, you want me to invoice him? Or,
A receipt for the,
oh, we already paid.
yeah, he's paying. So
Right.
we should send him a receipt for
Mhm.
$550.
placement of ashes in the scattering area or something, however you want to word it, it's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Okay, well, we'll get together on that.
Yes, we will.
Can you scatter ashes
To
in
my
the
time
backyard?
sheet will be,
Pardon me?
Can you scatter ashes in the backyard?
Absolutely. Yep.
I'll put it on the time sheet as usual with
Mhm.
the one from today too, so you'll have your information.
Today was full burial, correct?
Yes. Stella Wells,
And it was up in A or
A Annex
Annex.
North, lot 64.
find it okay, no problems?
They have headstone. They laid the headstone
No.
down to dig it though, it was a little tight.
Yeah.
We just laid it on some boards and then put it back up.
Backhoe's working all right?
Yes. We haven't got to that yet.
Pardon?
I said we didn't get that far yet.
Oh, okay. Well, you gotta dig.
But
you
it's
have to dig
cemetery,
all-
yes, backhoe
Okay.
has come home. So that's all I had for cemetery.
All right.
Do you have anything for me?
No, see Roger, I personally thought they did an excellent job, had it timed well, had things cleaned up fairly well. I could be picky and want them to blow it off a little bit more, but, always, it's just me. But I thought it looked nice.
They were on, he called me and said, we gotta stop, it's too hot, it was in the early afternoon or something, and they'd gone to lunch and they were on it the next day. They done a good job, I thought.
Yeah.
It was nice.
It's a little easier to do it a little before the 4th because you don't have that tremendous growing like Memorial Day.
Like Memorial Day, when you do it, if you do it too early, it starts to grow, but now
Yeah.
things have kind of settled a little bit, so it's not so bad.
Yeah.
And of course, we did Clifton, which personally I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say Clifton looked really, really, really nice also.
I told Roger that if he needed a guide to go by, he could go to Clifton.
There you go. Did you follow up and have successful conclusion with the complaint that we had the other day?
I left 3 messages,
Really?
never got a response. But I believe it was already taken care of when we talked about it, it had already been mowed.
Mm-hmm.
And I left you 3 messages.
Well, that's all you
So
do.
I don't know what to do.
I mean, I assume you said,
I did, I give her a little explanation,
Okay.
calling in reference,
Yeah.
left a message and, didn't take care of, and I apologize for.
well, that's probably
But she never
enough.
called me back. So
Yeah, that's probably enough then.
I done wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, shall we move on to road?
Okay. As you've heard, our backhoe's come home finally.
Is it fixed yet?
Yes. We picked it up Friday, said called Thursday, and I got down and get it. We went down Friday morning, picked it up before the scattering. That was it. Supposed to be 12:30, and I went early, and good thing was he was there.
So you weren't able to take Friday off?
I think I left at 2 o'clock to pick up my truck. No, I didn't take Friday off, did I? I left at about 2 o'clock.
You were trying to.
I was going to, but if things worked out, but I did leave at 2, so I could go get the truck. It's all right, I had things to do.
So it's fixed to your satisfaction, as
My
far as
truck,
you know?
the backhoe?
Backhoe,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. What I've used it, I've driven it
Yeah.
yesterday and seemed to drive fine and everything works fine. The four-wheel drive was engaged all the time. Because I said, my front tires are wearing down, can you check that out? And he said, even with the switch off the sending unit thing had gone bad, so it was engaged all the time, and that's been fixed too.
That's good, because, I looked at those
I
tires.
know,
and
they're
said,
wearing down. and I
Those
said,
are expensive.
It's wearing, those were actually not too bad, but.
But they're not too old either.
Yeah, yeah, and they were getting worn down, and usually that's an indication, and they checked it, and it's a little sending unit about that big, and said it was about twice as big as it showed me, it's electric. But they fixed that too,
Good.
so we're good for a while.
And the overall cost was?
Around 5,200.
They're burning home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? Oh, let's talk about Clifton for a minute. They've got a culvert at High and Jackson that has collapsed.
Yeah, I saw that plate over there. Is that your plate or?
No, it's the guy that lives right there. What's his name? Rogers. Built a new house right there.
Yeah.
It's his plate. But the culvert needs to be replaced. And they contacted me about replacing it. I said, that well, we can. They'll pay us for whatever materials and stuff.
Where is it?
High and Jackson. You know where High comes down to Tanner, right at the curve right there.
Across the church, you know?
Yeah, right.
Diagonal to the church.
Intersection right there.
The new three-way, what's not new
It's
anymore?
a 15-inch steel, but if you look through it, there's a pile of something in it, and then there's a hole in the road. So it's obviously dropped down, and it needs to be replaced. That's all I want to talk to you about. Something we can do for them.
Can that be
This is-
done with a double wall instead of
Double
steel?
wall, 18-inch, put 18-inch double wall in there. I don't want to go too big, because I don't want to dump a lot of water on down the road, because those are still only 12-inch tiles, which they're talking about replacing them too.
Yeah.
Because that ditch, if you look at it, it's got a rise in it, and they want to dress that up, well, that's going to force more water.
And we're talking about the county.
Talking about Clifton. And that Rogers, he's a contractor, he wants to address that, take that hump out to make it flow better. Because
You know,
it doesn't flow
actually, it's
his-
better not to take the hump.
Well, yeah, but he's worried about it, it backs up on his yard, on his lot, so he's trying
No,
to.
just
But
give the
that-
problem to somebody else.
You know, it's a 30-inch under 343, so if they move the other two to 15-inch instead of 12s, it'll handle the water. It should.
Is that road, Tan-Yard Road, in front of the Clifton Cemetery? Is that our road?
It's actually Green Township Road.
Pardon?
It's Green Township Road. Ours starts at
That's what I
Estill.
thought.
Ours starts at Estill and goes to Hill, where Hill, Tanner goes north.
So the work you did at the cemetery,
Is it cemetery on ours? Or,
well, if that road is Green Township's, it's the work you did
Cleaning the ditch,
along the road
cleaning the ditch.
was their work, right?
Oh, they made that very clear, I thought, at the meeting that, you know, once it went off the right of way,
Yeah, that's what I'm
it
under
was,
the
it was
impression
on
it's
our,
ours once
it
it's.
was on our dime.
Weren't you working some on the right of way? On the road, right of way,
No, not really. I mean,
that goes that way?
the grade all set on the road and cleaned our ditch, but
It goes out 25 feet from the center.
from the center of the road,
You
that would
didn't-
go about to the edge of where he's
Isn't
cleaning the
that-
ditch
that
out.
ditch down in there?
So this ditch is further off the road than a lot of ditches.
It's 6 foot to where it starts dropping, so I would say 25 falls pretty close to the outside edge of the ditch. I can measure it.
No, it doesn't matter, I just thought, they talked about that at the meeting, that they said that was our road ditch anyway. And that's why I asked, I wasn't too sure about that, I wasn't sure, so I didn't say anything at the meeting. But,
Do we have any problem with him working on a culvert when he's in between, got nothing else to do?
Right.
There's plenty of reading.
Well, you got that
You
backhoe
I
can
know,
do work
get
twice
that
as
backhoe out
fast.
there.
You talking about doing that right away or just sometime?
Maybe late next week.
Uh-huh.
looking at a day, one day?
I think so. Get it cut. I'll get it cut and then get in there early and get it open and covered back up as fast as possible. I think we can do it in a day.
And what will you do about pavement?
Probably put dirt gravel on it and then get some hot mix and dump on it. A couple tons of hot mix, roll it in. I think one day. I don't want to leave it open overnight. Get it
No.
Got it there early.
Hot mix, and you can get the hot mix and put it on top there in one day?
Sure. Just tile in the gravel on it, pack it in.
As long as there's no surprises, tearing it.
Shouldn't be, I hope. I'll have it located. I don't think there's anything running through there.
Or just rust it out? Steel part?
And it's just a section, it looks like it just come down.
when you get to that point, and, you know, I'm not authorizing to do it, but you could, if you had any hot mix left over. On Tanyard, there's a couple of good-sized potholes, you know,
Out Tanyard Road.
headed towards the cemetery, just about where the curve is. That's
There's
the
one
church.
in the curve right there, you know, I keep passing the coal patch.
Yeah.
Well, I could have some extra, I could get 3 tons, I think.
Well, if you have some extra, you know, maybe you could put some in there. I mean, it's good to have those access roads going to our cemetery, you know, in pretty good shape, you know, we don't want anybody to be bounced out the back of the hearse or anything.
When you're talking about on Tanyard, right?
Yes. Are we,
Inside the limits or outside the limits?
well, it's inside. As I recall, it's just,
Right there by Dave, where Dave used to live, there's
Yeah.
one I keep putting coal patch, I'd like to put a little bit of hot mix over there, we'll have a roller there if you could find it.
yeah.
And anything else down through there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I can take care of it.
Okay.
I think a day.
Maybe you could prep those the day before, so you don't, because that'll be at the end of the day, and the hot mix will be getting.
Well, once we get it down and get it dressed, whatever's left on the truck.
Yeah.
Then we'll have help, so we
They'll
can
be
send
on.
somebody down there.
Okay.
to do that. Xenia's got a tile next Tuesday, they're a man short. They want some help, I told them I'd help them. The quickie. Either someone either right there. Because Franz is gone.
Gone or gone?
California. Vacation. She called me, asked if I could get my hand, I think sure. And then in exchange, they'll come and give us, kind of works out pretty good that way.
Works out for me.
But that's the plan, is to do that culvert and get that done. I need to do some boom mowing sometime. Have you been out?
I didn't, because of the holiday, I didn't go out this week. Where are your ditches at the moment?
Well, I got a moment, I'll be on again this month, but I'd like to do a little trimming first because it's creeping out on me when I'm mowing in some of the areas. So we got some stuff hanging low in here. I did that, and we wedged last Monday on Grinnell Circle.
Yeah, how'd it go?
Good. Went smooth, turned out real nice.
You put a lot of material down, but
Not as
Yeah.
much as I had
a
figured.
pretty
on.
big bill from Valley Asphalt.
Should be like 50 some time, 52 tons. I've got all the papers,
2,000.
3,000, 75 bucks a ton. That's about right.
3,000 or something, I think.
That's about
Yeah.
right. It was 50, 51 or something tons,
Yeah.
less than I had actually figured on.
Is that the only place you put anything?
What was in Clifton, but that was down, that's where that,
The other one.
the one they built Xenia for. Valley built Xenia for the material that we got.
Oh, is that right?
It's supposed to be built to us. That's been resolved.
That's good.
But that's it for now. I mean, I'd like to put something on Carroll in that hole. You know, like to, maybe later before they put their paver away, but cap that off, that would help it.
Yeah, unfortunately, gotta keep it.
If it's only something, you know, I'm afraid that's just gonna keep getting worse. You know, we can probably save it for a while. Chip
Heard
seal
it.
it.
Already chip sealing going on in
I saw
county?
the machine for Hensley's coming this way on 68 last night.
Oh, yeah.
It must have been up north.
Mhm.
He said mid to late July. Right. 'Cause I called and talked to Matt about the Jacobians, and what was going on.
You did?
Mhm. And so they're gonna hold off on that. He said they'd be in some mid to late July for us.
You see any, I don't know how, if you ever get out there, I mean, are they starting to haul stuff in and out of Jacob?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Did they ever get that permit?
Yeah, the village,
Yeah.
yeah, the village got it.
Oh, it's a go, I don't know how.
Yeah,
soon
no,
it'll
no,
start.
it did, it was there was a significant amount of time I thought they were, you know, the check was in the mail or something, but it showed up and we took care of it, and everything was fine.
Did you get your older dump truck, your 165 fixed, or?
Not yet.
Any idea what's going on with it? Just
It's in that, it's a connection right there in the hood where the wires plug together.
Oh, yeah.
It's something in there because it won't let the strobes or the pump kick on, and that's where it
Oh.
is. And we've got one that does, but I could get a chance to get the other one with it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. I don't think I have, yes.
If there are no other questions for Dan, let's move on to the fiscal officer's report.
Well, as you know, we're in the midst of a public hearing.
We are.
We could probably close it anytime.
We could probably close it unless anybody has any questions. But there was I gave you a couple pieces of paper that had the changes, just a couple of small changes, nothing big. And, yeah, and then there's a resolution to amend permanent appropriations. And I can go ahead and just read that if you want me to. Whereas it is an ongoing process to accurately appropriate funds according to the needs of townships, now therefore the trustees authorize an amendment to the following: a permanent appropriation in the fire fund in buildings, it was increased by $2,000. That's it. Trustees authorize the fiscal officer to do so immediately.
Move the resolution be approved.
Second.
All right, if there is no further discussion, may we take a vote?
Mr. Mutcher?
Yes.
Mr. Spratlin?
Yes.
Mr. Crockett?
Yes.
So, we adopt and then if you want to go ahead and authorize and adopt our tax budget for 2017, we can do that.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any further discussion about our tax budget? If not, may we take a vote?
Mr. Crockett?
Yes.
Mr. Spratlin?
Yes.
Mr. Mutcher?
Yes.
Okay then, so I guess we'll declare the public hearing closed.
Closed, yes.
All right, and, yep, those, two documents that you just authorized will be sent down to the, county auditor's office. And we'll see how they feel about it.
Did the fire department have a,
It's not due until the 20th, but we're on, we're above, you know, ahead of schedule, so.
Mhm.
did the fire department have a unusual building expense of 2,000, or was that just a
No.
mid-year correction?
No, it's just,
I think that's roof repair constant.
yeah, it was either that or, I think the garage doors are always being.
I was just curious.
I think it was actually a garage door thing
Was it?
that kind of popped it over the top, and we didn't need a whole full 2,000 to cover that one bill, but,
Right.
you know, we're only halfway through the year, and
No, I agree.
there may
I'm
be
not,
other
I'm not
expenses that went
questioning.
ahead, yeah.
Just
Well,
curious.
no, yeah, well, and so I just went ahead and added a little more, just so,
Nice run.
not hopefully to jinx anything, but,
And you're allowed to question.
yeah. I don't mind questions.
As a citizen of the township.
And I guess that's it for now.
Okay.
Anything moderator yours?
I thought about it again today, and
Be careful what you wish for, but.
I know, and I need to, take care of this education report deadline thing that we got, so.
Sounds like a personal problem to me.
It is. So I'll take care of that, whatever I need to do. That's it.
How soon they forget, I have to go back to cemetery for a minute because I have officially
Use the whole
codified
pad of paper.
the whole pad of paper of every single tombstone
My.
in section B, C, and D, Clifton. So all we got is the old part to go yet, but they're all in the books, as they say. They're not in the books, in the set,
On the disc.
in the cloud.
Yeah. Great.
The only thing is, not the only thing, but one of the million things is, there are so many, I mean, there are a zillion open spots in that cemetery. Just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of open spots that I have no record of anybody owning them. And so,
We have to rely on the family there. And like you're talking about section B,
yeah,
a lot open, a lot of those are sold.
so, to who?
Whoever, you know, just
But we
because
don't
there's two
know.
headstones here for Rife and there's nothing here, doesn't mean they don't own them, because I've already run into that once, that they, Rife do own quite a
I
bit.
know, but like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, there's just dozens of open places. And
And how do we know?
exactly, how do we know?
I don't know, I
So-
rely on the family to,
So you can't sell them again? I mean,
if,
I don't know if they're open or available.
well,
yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So.
And
do
the way
you
of
know
looking and
that-
saying, okay, they own this, I mean,
Do you know if they've ever been sold?
No,
I go by the map. that
Those
we
areas
have,
don't have-
and I
yeah.
go by- Well.
but I've put
It
all the
shows
map.
names, a
I
lot
put
of times
those
they're
in.
divided, and you can tell, the plastic maps out there.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
I
that's
put all
what
those
I go
in.
by.
I put all those in, but there are still a zillion that are unmarked. Especially down the lower part, as B gets into, you know, the 250s, 260s,
Okay, the one down there was
270s.
Kirchner owned a whole lot, but that now belongs to Wendell Colcox, and that should be, because Wendell bought them off of,
That's probably in there, you know, it was on the
because it
map.
was listed on the map as Kirchner, but I don't think if I crossed it and wrote Colcox, I don't think I did. He owns a whole lot down there, it's 254, 256. Used to belong to Doug Hammond and Kirchner, but now it belongs to Colcox. Because there's other Colcoxes, right, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them down there. But how far down would we potentially, I mean, after 277, that's the only thing
Okay,
that's on the little map.
Between there and the flagpole, you see the road with the.
Yeah.
That's a potter's road. There's nothing towards the flagpole. There's a potter's road, which was people buried by the county who were here, worked and didn't have anybody or money.
Where is that?
Between the flagpole and the 4 or 5 stones across there that kind of designates the bottom line.
Yeah.
In section B. But in front of that, you'll see that there's, towards the south side, you'll see the humps from the graves that have settled. That's a potter's field, and no idea who's in there.
Yeah.
But those people were buried by the county because they were here, or they had no families, or.
Now, where's that located?
It's down in the bottom between the flagpole location and there's what, 1, 2, 4 stones, 5 stones across there. Kind of in a row, you know what I'm talking about? There's a little white
Yeah,
stone and there,
right.
2 or 3 and then another one. Well, to the east of that, right in front of it, was a row of wooden boxes.
And when was that, last time it was used?
Well, the rumor is that those
That'd
were
be a
people who
long-
died from the cholera.
That's up by the walnut tree, the mass grave in the old section.
Oh, okay, not the same, huh? Oh, I thought it was down in the
No,
lower
that's
part.
Potter's Road, I think they call it. There's
Yeah,
Potter's
just
Field
destitute
too.
people, not.
There's supposedly a
considered.
Potter's Field up in C, right before you get to B. Down about where my hydraulic spill was,
Yeah,
somewhere down in there. There's evidently a Potter's Field.
yeah.
It's on one of the maps Harold said there was, I don't know anything about other than that, that's all I know. But the cholera epidemic, that's behind the big walnut tree in the old section, that old open area, those are all, there was a big mass grave.
So when
So we don't
somebody,
know who's in there.
so when somebody comes and said, I'd like to buy a grave or a lot or 10 on one or whatever, where are you selling?
In section D,
D only, pretty much?
pretty much, because
Mhm.
you know what we run into in section C with Kathy and,
Yeah.
so I can't. I'm positive that there's something there. Which I'm not. I've just been section D.
Mhm.
And, you know, as close as I can to where they want to be,
Mhm.
in their general area.
But if somebody says, you know, my mom and dad are buried down here in C or B or whatever, it doesn't matter. But, you know, is there anything available? And you go down and you look, there's a couple, but there's no name on the map.
Right. I
Would you probe it and sell it to them or not?
could, but what if someone else called up, hey, we got a burial, we own so-and-so lot, a year later?
Yeah, well, I know, that's what I'm
I'm
wondering.
afraid of that. We've run into that.
Can you probe it successfully?
Maybe, if there's a vault, sometimes there aren't any
Well, I
vaults.
mean, before votes. Before votes.
No, not
All of that's gonna be before balls, most
a lot
of
of
it B
it,
and C
right.
anyway.
We've put some vaults down there from, you know, people that have said, here's where they go, and, yeah, we've done that. Some of the areas I can't tell.
So when did they start using vaults? When were you required? The mid-70s?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So anything
I
before
think it's
that?
like mid-70s when they started requiring them to put that. I was there, I was around, but.
Not very long, just for.
Oh, yeah,
How
I
many
was in
people are
Clifton
in
then, but
No,
I was
not
burying
at all.
people then.
And I'm one of those people that I always figured that if any records would be well-maintained, it would be cemetery, but I'm finding out that that's really just.
Well, you got a rude
We're
awakening
trying.
there, didn't you?
And-
We're trying to make that a little easier on them.
Yeah. And the thing is that There, okay, let's say that you were just checking the location of the Potter's Road. How would you go about doing that? Would you, obviously you do some physical looking.
Define Potter's Road,
Yeah.
you can see them,
Okay.
you can see them, they're seven, you can tell where they are. I don't know what's there, I'm assuming it was wooden boxes that are now, because that's why everything's settled. There might not be anything there now, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
May not have been boxes
Might have just been a box.
way back then.
Yep, you don't have to
We're
have a
talking,
box.
you know, you're talking the turn of the century, early 1900s, late 1800s. We don't,
But
we don't mess around down there. We just leave it.
if I'm listening to Dan clearly, this isn't an issue of whether someone's buried there or not. It's an issue of whether someone owns the plot or not.
That's-
More so, yeah.
You got.
We don't know, we don't.
You're right, you don't know.
We don't keep copies
I
of.
mean, the fact is, one way or another, you could establish whether someone was buried in
Sure.
this plot, but it doesn't do you any good because you don't know whether the cemetery owns it or someone
Or
else.
whether they own the one next to, on the
Yeah.
side of it, you know, so we have to rely on your home or family telling us.
Yeah, that's ours, that's ours.
You know, according to the guy who did our ground penetrating radar work, you know, if they were buried in a box, unless the soil is particularly soft or weak or whatever, he was talking about down south, I think more, you know, by the time that box deteriorates and collapses, as it were, the ground is very solid, it leaves a void. And so where you're seeing the ripples is where it was no box, just bodies, and the body itself would then just collapse, and then the small amount of earth above it would, you know, would tend to go down on the body, because the body would collapse much quicker than the wooden box.
It depends what what wood the box is made out of, though.
Sure.
Makes a huge difference, and how moist the soil is.
Right.
It's wet down front there where
Yeah.
the Potter's is, but it stays, that's the wetter part.
Mhm.
So I don't know what's there, but you can definitely see that they're graves. Get down there, just look. You'll see them.
Interesting.
So to answer your question, I just have to rely on family. I can probe, but you can go right
Well,
through a box too.
I'm just glad that's not the responsibility of Miami Township, that that's the cemetery board's concern. No problem. All right, I hope you sleep well at night.
He's good right now.
Well, there might be some legal way you could advertise. People don't answer the ad. I'm not sure. A lot
I
of
mean,
things.
for possible open areas down in B and stuff like that.
Well, there should be some way you can advertise. In the legal column in your paper, legal notices.
Something been abandoned for a certain amount of time.
Something to the effect that if this spot is not claimed within 6 months or 90 days, then it will be declared vacant.
Well, there was a statewide cemetery commission a couple of years ago. I attended a few of them, and one of the recommendations to the legislature was to amend that abandoning procedure that was that there's one in place right now, but you had to have put on the deed, starting in 1986, that within so many years, 50 years, you know, if it's not claimed, then it would revert back to the owner. Problem is, you had to put that language on the deed for any one of those plots.
Right.
They recommended to the legislature, and I haven't seen anything that the legislature has acted to change that, where it can just be done by time and not by the
Actual legal process.
Yeah, so who knows if that's gonna happen or not.
You know, legislatures are dead in the water. There's nothing happening.
Except for.
Well, they're on recess.
Yeah, until the election,
On recess.
and then they'll get
Then they
for
don't-
a
then they
while,
don't do
and then
anything. Oh, now.
well, you have to realize that the only lobby for this are going to be people running cemeteries.
Right.
The general public doesn't want it, so it's, you know, it's gotta kind of slip through,
Yeah, it's happened before.
unless we get a shortage of cemeteries or something, and there's a hue and cry.
Okay, any further questions for Margaret?
I'm finished.
Not that we need to get off. but-
Questioning Margaret?
It's all about Dan.
All right, if there are no further questions for the fiscal officer, may we move on to the zoning inspector?
I think things have been generally quiet. I don't have a lot to report about. The zoning commission didn't have a quorum at its last meeting, so it was just a working session. We sat and talked. I mean, it was like a meeting, but obviously no decisions were made. And it brought up the agritourism bill and talked about how they wanted to react to that, and they're still plowing their way through the agricultural section and working on refining the language for bed and breakfast, make that a little more airtight. So that's what's happening with the zoning commission. I got an email, kind of an announcement from the Owens saying that the bed and breakfast would be closing on July 25th. That seems to correspond with having sold the house, but I don't have any details on that. But they said they were making arrangements for any guests that they had scheduled after that date to stay in their places. So it says to me that, and I think the only reason they would discontinue the business is if they had
So they sold the
the
house.
building. So we'll wait and see.
Still out?
Yeah, but apparently they've got a.
Sign down there?
Well, I don't know whether, selling houses is a long, there's the contract, and then there's the financing, and then there's the closing. And all of those things have to happen. But apparently, Eric was sure enough to stop the business.
Yeah.
There are two houses right there for sale.
On that same lot.
No,
Same
Well,
lot.
Sam's got signs out there.
yeah. Sam is who is the realtor.
One's for the Eric Owens, and the other one is just on the end of Glen Road.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's somebody else selling it?
Christie's house down the bottom there.
Oh,
It's sold too. It's got a
It
contract
did?
on it too.
I think this is the second time the Owens had a contract. There was a brief time where it was under contract, and that must have just
But it's the same
disappeared
people.
fast.
It's the same people came back.
Oh, really? Lamar knows.
Well,
He
just
goes to Young.
about the time the zoning commission gets
Sam.
the bed and breakfast regulations set, there won't be any more bed and breakfast in Rocky Township.
Breakfast, yeah.
Sam told me.
Oh, Sam told you? Well, I had chatted with Sam when I found out it was on the market. She was handling it just to make sure she didn't advertise it in any way that wasn't appropriate. But at that point, that she didn't have anybody on the lawn, but it was a while back.
Question about the language that the zoning board is working on. What do you mean?
Well, for example, this is still in flux, so I can't say something definitive. But for example, one of the difficulties that we've had is that, in very simple language, our code says the owner has to live in the house.
Right.
Okay? Well, then everybody would say, well, what constitutes living in the house? How many days a year do you have to live in the house? Can you go on vacation? Can you do this? Can you do that?
So they're trying to.
All right, and I think that rather than trying to define occupancy, what they're going to say is the owners have to be present when guests are present.
Interesting.
Okay? So if they want to go on vacation, that's fine. Now, the fact of the matter is that if you just go away for a couple of weeks and somebody else is running the business while you're gone for 2 weeks, nobody's going to care. But in the case of the Owens, where they effectively didn't live there, it made a difference. I mean, even they admitted that it made a difference. So that's, what's being worked on, based on this concept that if it is your home, you won't allow activities that aren't compatible with it being your home. And so that's one of the kinds of things that are being changed.
So there's still, the bed and breakfast concept is still.
Well, nobody's trying to get rid of bed and breakfast. It's just to make sure that they are, I guess, I think the zoning commission feels that the original intent, which is you have a your home and you have a room or two that you want to use for transient occupancy is fine, but opening motels or hotels across the township is not fine.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just figuring out how to say that clearly. I mean, it's interesting how things have changed. I get calls, people want to buy a piece of property here in Miami Township, and, what can I do, is kind of the question. And the latest one is, well, the property I'm looking at has a barn on it, can I remodel the barn and have events? The answer is no. But nobody ever even asked that until relatively recently. It's the new concept, it's attracted a lot of attention.
My question is, how do we say no and enforce, like, okay, let's say, my understanding of the recent changes in laws was that if you had a barn and you had X number of acres that didn't have to be contiguous, that you could do whatever you wanted to.
Well, okay, agriculture, all right, is essentially not allowed to be regulated by township zoning. All right, so anything that the state of Ohio considers to be agriculture, we have no control over. All right, that's the fundamental concept. All right, now sometimes things get argued a little bit about what constitutes agriculture and what doesn't.
Right.
But that lately hasn't been a problem. The new item is agritourism, and there are several components to that. One is that this is something that can take place on a farm. And a farm is essentially defined the same way that CAUB is defined. Either you have more than 10 acres of land that's used for agriculture, or you have less than 10 acres and you have a certain amount of money that's made from agricultural activities. Okay, so and as for the agritourism is concerned, it doesn't make any difference what our zoning is. In other words, if you own 10 acres that's zoned industrial, but you plant it in corn or whatever, then you can do something that falls under the agritourism permission, all right, or a residential district or any other place. But most residential districts have lots that are so small that you couldn't generate enough income from agricultural activities to qualify.
Right.
Agritourism, the key aspect of it is that, and there's a whole list of kinds of things you can do, but the key is that they have to be agriculturally related. Okay? So, for example, having a wedding, there's no relationship to agriculture. Right?
Oh, I beg to disagree.
Well, all right, here's
All
the...
you have to do is have a kitty cat or a chicken or
The trend is dogs.
a
Well,
dog.
this is going to be...
And then there's your
Okay,
Flint
and this is,
agriculture.
of course, that what the courts will end up deciding.
Sure, oh, absolutely.
Because either everything is agriculturally related, or there's actually something that says, no, this has some
But
relationship
the
to
legislature
farming.
decided not to do it that way.
Right, they
So
left it
in
wide
effect,
open.
everything can be linked to agriculture. If the ground that this thing is sitting on qualifies according to the agricultural requirements of the legislature, the CAUB, the 2,500 to 10 acres, there isn't a whole lot that you couldn't do on that has the public come in that you can't make a case for agriculture. All you gotta do is hand out a leaflet that says agriculture in Ohio is, the largest industry, and bam, you qualified. You've made your case.
Well, I disagree.
I'm not saying that you
Right.
can't.
I mean, and that's the whole point. I read it and say, that if you're offering hay rides or corn mazes or pick your own pumpkins or whatever, that there's an obvious connection to agriculture. But if you're opening a school to teach people about agriculture, education is one of the things that's listed. But
It says cultural, educational, and
Right.
historical,
But
and
each,
those sorts of things.
each one's related to agriculture. And, I mean, when a wedding takes place in the church, it's not related to agriculture. Now, what difference is there if it takes place in a barn?
Because it's then related to agriculture.
Well, I don't think it is, that's the whole point.
Well, when it
and see
takes
that-
place, it's a result of culture, cultivating and nurturing. That's what you do.
Well, you know, when the first person comes in and wants to do something based on that bill, they'll have to convince me, and I can say no, and they can go to the BZA, and if the BZA says no, then they can take it to court if they want to. If the court overturns
I
it,
made this poem for you. I
fine.
know you like poems. I didn't make it, I
Not
copied it.
to,
But, you know, this, just to say, I think that maybe the legislature was a little wishy-washy about this, but when the first bill came out, they spelled out things like you'd have an amusement park. All right, they took all that out, which says something about it isn't wide open, okay?
Yeah, well, okay, Judge,
Do
good
you
luck.
need-
Yeah, I know.
Do you need,
And so far, Miami Township is not a target.
do you need 10 acres to agritourism?
No,
There's no limit.
no, you can be small enough as long as you get that, I think it's $2,500 income from agriculture, from the property.
And from agritourism.
No, not from agritourism, from agriculture.
So if you
You
had
have
a
to
truck
qualify as a farm before you can have agritourism.
So that means-
Agritourism isn't farming.
So that means you have to have 10 acres to qualify as a farm.
Well, no, the way I understand it, it's either 10 acres or you generate this minimum dollar amount. So and if you have 9 acres and you make $2,500 off of it, you know, raising hogs, then it's agriculture.
You don't have to make it, you just have to have that income. Doesn't have to be, this is net income, not gross, or gross income, not net.
Okay, I don't know, but I've never seen that spelled out
And
either.
it's, I thought it was per acre. If it's less than 10 acres.
It might be, I'd have to look that up, but, you know, it
Acres, I don't
spells
know.
out both.
That would only be $300 an acre if you had 8 acres, a little over.
Mhm.
I think it's.
That's not hard to do.
I think it's 2,500.
Yeah, 2,500
acre
is
if it's
just a
less
number.
than 10 acres.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, if you have agritourism, you don't have to live there.
No, there's nothing about living. It doesn't have anything related to your home.
not to prolong the conversation, because it's an open debate, but part of my concern about the language of owner occupied as far as bed and breakfast goes is the question of the township's bed and breakfast.
Nothing would change. It's all grandfathered in to begin with,
Okay.
so don't give it another thought.
Okay. So because there was a variance granted and that's recorded.
Well, I don't know if there was, but, well, let's do it a different way. Let's let sleeping dogs lie.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Can I move to another subject, or?
Absolutely.
Have you completed your records request?
I have passed on everything that I can find.
Okay, that's all I need to know. I hadn't.
Yeah, I didn't
heard
make a
heard
statement
final-
saying, you know, this is all I can find.
Mhm.
I had one question about something, I mean, no, these are details, they're not exactly records requests, you know, ask for information though. And one of the requests was for the bylaws of the zoning commission, and a copy of the bylaws that the zoning commission provided didn't have the line filled in on the date that they were passed, or something like that. I don't know when they were passed. I said, well, I might be able to find that out by reading through minutes, so I know approximately when they were done, but, you know, so far, everybody has understood that I don't mind working on this, but I can't spend all my time on it.
Yeah, no, we can't afford you spending all your time on it, so we're in
Same-
agreement
Same
there.
sort of thing. I don't
Okay.
say it quite that bluntly.
Okay. Any-
There really aren't any bed and breakfasts besides the Glen House. Springs Country in the township, those are the only two in the township.
Well, Nancy Bunton went through the hearing process for a bed and breakfast, and so she has the right to operate one. I don't know if she ever did or still does. She always said it was going to be a low-key, not advertised operation. But that's the only other one that has come in front of me, other than the traditional three. And there may be Airbnbs in the township, or I'm told that there are, but we haven't worried about that yet.
Any further questions for the zoning inspector?
Nope.
Okay. Any new business?
I have one potential piece of new business, and
Okay.
this is just throwing this out there. Since we're, later into the month on this meeting, I'm not available on the night of our next meeting. I didn't know if anyone, I asked Colin, he won't be here, has class also. Dan never wants, I shouldn't say stuff, but,
I come regularly. I come around.
I know you do. But, anybody's willing to just cancel that meeting, I'm all for that.
Whether you need a second meeting of the month?
Oh, no.
Well, there's the bill thing,
What's the bill thing?
paying.
Oh,
Yeah, I would, it doesn't hurt me as long as Lamar doesn't mind showing up to sign bills.
I just didn't know if anybody else had a conflict that time, and then, that necessitated.
Making
You're
sure
fine,
there's a
Lamar?
quorum.
That's the 18th. I'll be here.
All right, then you're on then.
We're on. It'll be hopefully short, but,
Yeah,
Okay, so,
it's only,
I mean, at the very least, we can meet to
10 days.
sign, you can
Only
meet to
10
sign some
days.
bills or something,
sure.
yeah.
right?
Well, we always have questions for Dan.
I'll be here.
Dan will hold up the meeting.
Well, I
Send
had no
it
other
forward.
new business then.
I move, assuming there's no old business. No old business?
Can't do that yet.
I'm gonna business
Any
big
old
turn.
business?
I move business be adjourned. What is any old business or not?
Okay. I don't know if you could do that, but.
Yeah, he just did.
Yeah, it was done.